Well, welcome back, everybody. You know it's the Gentleman's Bureau podcast. We have a good time here. Swinging hard, swinging long, swinging good. And once again, boys, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
So before we started recording, we were talking about the American education system, its faults, its downfalls, the things it got wrong.
We're
Um,
getting deep into this right away.
yeah. One of the things that we were talking about was book reports, because I used to scam the book report reward mint system. We had every million words you read based off of passing a computerized quiz on the book. Every million words you got a free coupon for a small pizza at like one of the best pizza places I've ever found. Uh, so I would just like watch movies and pick books with movies and stuff and get like tons of words for essentially free. Um, and it really highlights like the school system wasn't really teaching you things. It was just teaching you how to quickly get answers to questions, regurgitate them in a timely manner, and then totally forget about them for the rest of your life, except for the fact that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, which it is. But other than that, gone. Everything else is gone.
Well, Jed, that sounded awful the way you just explained it. Explain it how you did earlier. Like, okay, ladies and gentlemen,
yeah, you really
mostly gentlemen, I think.
That
Uh,
was an overview.
yeah, but it was so much better earlier, I guess. But so what Jed is trying to say is this guy had this little hustle going on as a young kid because the reward system was that you would get like free coupons to a local pizza place. And obviously, Jed, all kids really love pizza. I mean, they love pizza. I mean, I still love pizza. And he was running this hustle where he was like, "Oh, I can be a part of this book report biz." But Jed didn't want to put in the good work of actually reading the book and taking these little tests and making these little book reports and all this stuff. So Jed found a perfect little thing called Spark Notes. Jed, take it away.
yeah.
Yeah, so Spark Notes lets you read a summary of the book, and a lot of times it'll give you the plot highlights. So like the big parts of the plot as it progresses along, which was almost always what the questions were about. So if there wasn't a movie for this book, or if the movie wasn't close enough to the book, I turned to Spark Notes, and I would just take like 5 minutes before our library class to look up the Spark Notes on the library computer, and then I would go take the test for the book like right afterwards. Never read the book, forgot all the answers right after I took the test, and ended up getting a million words like I think like 7 times in one semester, which was like unheard of. But they didn't get wise until now. Sorry, but hey, free pizza. I ended up working for the pizza place anyway, so I guess they got their money back. Full circle.
Yeah. Have you ever had any like rewards like that, Lane? Like that you were striving for? Did you and where you didn't like necessarily work hard to like learn something, but you worked hard just to get like positive outcome at the end? Oh, I think we lost Lane. I don't know where he went. Hello?
Yeah, either he's disconnected or he's doing that Drax thing from Guardians of the Galaxy where he just stands so still he's actually invisible. But I think he just lost. Oh, he's back. I think he's back.
Oh, was I gone? That
You were just
sucks.
Yeah,
kind of
you were gone for a
chilling
second.
for a second.
You know what's weird? It's ever since of recent. If you're close to me, you know what's going on. But like, the internet has just been garbage, like laggy here. I don't know why, but no. Back to your question, Mark. You said, did I ever like kind of take advantage of any kind of a award or reward system? No, not really. But what Jed was doing, I was kind of doing for like English in general. I don't know, like for a good grade. I mean, looking at Spark Notes and shit like that, like that's kind of how I got through school. I'm not gonna sit there and read like some book that I really don't care about. I'm just not gonna do it. So I'm gonna go out of my way to just get what I can. Especially nowadays, it's kind of like I like reading books, but if you listen to it, it's a lot like because they got like speeds too, right? So you could like do it 3 times the speed and just like zoom through books. If you're good at retaining that kind of thing verbally or audibly. Audible. I don't have Audible, but yeah, they're a great system. But yeah, that's basically the only time I ever used any of that shit. Or any of, I don't know, I guess what Jed was doing.
Sort of, yeah.
Notes.
What's funny is I do love to read. I love listening to audiobooks too because it lets me multitask. But I do like to just pick up a book and actually read. It was funny that I was actually scamming this out when I could have probably just read the books and probably enjoyed them. But my mom's also a big reader, but she hates audiobooks. She gets absolutely nothing out of them, which is funny because she's also a speed reader who like constantly just jumps words. So like if she sees like she'll just quickly jump over it.
Yeah.
And skip, and she just flies through books. And I'm like, so why don't you like audiobooks? She's like, I don't know, just don't get anything out of them. And I'm like, are you listening? Maybe you're just not listen. Are you listening?
Jesus. She can't. She has this weird disease where she can't hear anything with an H in it, and it just messes her up.
Maybe, I don't know. But
that'd be funny.
we actually took the time to try to do something better than the school, though, right? Like, we tried to listen to a book as a group and like actually retain some information from it in order to like have it improve our lives. In this case, financially. And we read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. What's his last name?
Robert Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki. I don't know why you guys pronounce it like you got Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just the way
like that.
He says it.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki.
That's how it goes, guys. Don't be weird.
You're
Kiyosaki.
being weird by bringing that up. Like, why don't you say it
Kiyosaki.
like that, Mr. fucking Japanese?
But his first name's Robert. It's like, oh,
Right, yeah.
What-
I think he grow up in Hawaii.
yeah. He talks about growing up in Hawaii in the beginning of the book and
Yeah.
like the different situation at the time. Oh, that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, neat. Sugarcane fields. Like,
Right.
you don't really think about Hawaii except for vacations, but oh yeah, they also have,
Farming,
pineapples and
agriculture.
I think
Export.
coffee. Yeah.
Dude, Hawaiian coffee is good. I love Hawaiian coffee. Kona.
Ooh. What do you like about it?
About the
Before we
the
get
Hawaiian
off topic.
coffee
Yeah.
or the book? Because we're already off the topic of the book. Now we're just talking about Hawaii.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's go back to the
No,
book.
no. Let's
I'm just
let's
starting
finish
to
this
think about
coffee before we
coffee.
get back to the book. Now I'm invested.
Okay.
It's really
Okay.
bold. So like a lot of coffee, even if you put in just a little bit of creamer, all you can end up tasting is the creamer. But with like Kona blend, is one of the ones that I found that like no matter how much creamer you put in, you can still tell that that's Kona coffee.
Ooh.
Like it has flavor that cuts through everything else, and gives you like
Nice.
I am drinking some coffee, some dirty bean juice, and I like that. I like coffee. I also just like black coffee sometimes. So
Yeah, same. Gotta be in the mood for like just pure black coffee.
yeah, it's definitely a mood thing. And for me, I drink my coffee like right away because usually when I'm making coffee, I'm already like tired, and I want to be untired quick untiredness. And so I need coffee now. I need to drink it now. So I need creamer to cool it down, so I can drink it now. But that's just me. Anyway, back
Word.
to Rich
Book.
Dad Poor Dad.
So there's a lot of takeaways in Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think one of the strongest ones that I seen right away was the fact that he wasn't necessarily like telling you exactly what to do to like financially set yourself up, but he was giving you like, I guess, educated suggestions on how to think about your finances. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was less like a self-help book. I mean, more like a restructure how you think about this, the financial system.
Money. Yeah.
Money, yeah.
Yeah.
Rethink. And there's two, basically, rich dad, poor dad. Two different ways to look at money, right? Two different ways to look at different situations, right? So you had the poor dad who said, he, I really like that, but I can't afford it, right? Those are the words that came out of the poor dad's mouth. Whereas the rich dad would say, how can I afford it? Like different points of view,
Yeah.
little things like that you can even use in any uh, medium, right? It doesn't have to be money. It's like, how do I achieve that goal? Or I can't achieve that goal. It's like, it's all about mindset too. So it's not just about, the money aspect. It's more of like a mindful book, it's how you view life and what you do in certain situations and, um, your tenacity to push forward.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
when I was listening to that part of the book, it immediately made me thought of a Dave Chappelle joke where his dad's like, "You're not poor. Never say you're poor. Poor is a mentality. You're broke." And no,
Yeah,
he's
bro.
right, because that's pretty much what it is. It's like, yeah, you can have no money, doesn't mean you're poor, because poor is a mentality. Poor is every penny I get has to be spent. I can't save. I can't afford to get out of my place in this low income area. And a lot of it, for me, the book of like the big message I took away from it was investing in the future. And that's like a big thing about the transition from low class to middle class to high class is just how far ahead are you spending your money? Are you spending your money week to week, or are you spending your money every month and you pay off everything at the beginning of the month and you don't have to worry about bills until the end because because you have shit planned out because you're ready, because you're
Yeah,
investing in your future.
for sure.
And then another big one was the asset versus liability column, right? Assets make you money, investments only cost you money. That's a big one. But one thing that he didn't really elaborate on, at least I didn't think so, was how to gain assets. Like starting out with no assets, how do you gain assets when you already have liabilities?
I You're muted, Lane.
He does talk about that, Jed. So I read this like a year ago, but I remember he talked about how he gave examples of like his dad and how he started out with just a couple rentals and he was doing this, doing that, and had he outsourced everything as far as like his lawyers, his accountant, and everything. And then he broke it off to like where he finally owned the hotel. Uh, I forget what hotel it is, but I think it's still around. I think it's in Florida or something. But I mean, he did kind of go into that, um, how to do it. You start small, you do this. Now, I mean, he didn't get into specifics where it was like, you know, oh, when my
First, I
dad
want
had
to buy
enough
this.
equity. Right.
Yeah.
He didn't say any of that. Like, oh, when you have equity, take a HELOC out, put that money down towards a new home. No, shit like that. He didn't talk about that, but he
Yeah.
he
And
did
he
address
also,
it a little bit.
and his start point was a couple of rentals,
I don't know if
right?
it was his start point, but
Maybe it was I
it's something.
shit.
I forget what it was, but
Yeah.
look.
Well, what I think of another thing was like don't necessarily get something that is going to be a liability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the same time, and then also like what can you move, into your, I mean, from your liability into your
Assets.
assets. Yeah. Why couldn't I think of that word?
Yeah.
Big brain over here. Sorry.
I don't know. I think about assets all the time.
Yeah. I loved the where he was talking to his poor dad, who's a teacher, and he was like, "Well, why do I have to learn this stuff? I want to learn about money." And they basically, the dad was like, "Well, the school doesn't let us teach you about money." And that's huge, bro. Why the fuck does the school like that on itself, that on its face shows that you are in school to obey, to be good little workers, bro. And like think about it, like the system, not even Jed, you don't even need that.
No, no,
Like,
no, no. I was going to go a step
It's not
further.
a.
Because think
well,
about it.
okay.
Think about it, right?
Think
The schools can't
well,
teach you
hold
about
on.
finance.
I'm not
Go ahead.
even
Sorry.
Let
done.
him go. Let him go.
Okay, so like Rockefeller school system, right? This was in like the 50s or some shit. He implemented this school system where it's wait for the bell, don't talk unless you raise your hand. It's very like it's almost like you're kind of in fucking prison if you think about it in a sense, because like you have to go to school otherwise, and if you don't go to school, what is that, truancy or some shit, right? If you're not homeschooled and you skip school or whatever, it's like truancy. And then they have fucking truancy officers, bro. Like you're on some
Yeah.
kind of like so you're in this school, right? You have to go. Doesn't matter. Like people will say, "Oh, I hate school. I don't like." Those are the free spirited people. Like I hate school, shit like that. But no, you're going to school. You're going to sit on your ass for X amount. They're gonna cut all the programs as far as like art and like, I mean, yeah, they got PE still, which is fucking great. I think they should probably implement more PE given like the current situation. But
Childhood
um,
obesity. Yeah.
yeah, like I guess where I was going with this whole thing is like it's very they don't teach you about money because they don't want you to get ahead and invest, and they want you to spend all the fucking money you have, so you have nothing. You have a codependence with the government when you are old, or even before then. Like they like look, dude. Like I'll go to Walmart, right, and I'll like constantly see people. I don't know if it's just my area or what, but like these kids that are my age and younger who are just, dude, they're fucking so lazy. I thought I was bad when I was like told I was lazy when I started working, but I wasn't. I mean, I worked hard in at Culver's, but like, dude, these people are just chilling. Like there was like 15 of them just hanging outside like on break, or I don't know if even if they were on break or whatever. But I'm just saying like that's the kind of shit you're gonna get. You're gonna get these walking zombies if you don't teach kids how to invest, how to think for themselves. Like it's very
Yeah.
like school's great, knowing your generic, like 2 + 2 is 4, shit like that. The Earth is flat, stuff like that. And and so like, but it's very it's you're being indoctrined. It's what
Yeah.
you're being, and you're subconsciously,
It's almost
wait
like
for the
a
bell. Don't talk unless you're spoken to. Shit like that.
yeah. It's like a pre-education camp.
Yeah, dude, it's
Oh.
mind numbing.
And if you think about it, so like if the schools can't teach you about finance, then the only people that can teach you about finance are the people who are already rich. So the rich families stay richer because they can pass that knowledge down, whereas everybody that's not rich is just relying on a school system and
Well,
they
he
can't
said
take
that.
themselves out. Exactly, yeah.
He even said like, don't teach them that. That like, don't keep them poor, keep them dumb.
And who gets on the school boards? Huh? The
Probably the
people
rich
that
people.
donate the most. The people that
Yeah.
donate the most. Like at my fucking college, you couldn't drink on campus. We had a bar on campus that just never got used because you couldn't drink on campus. It was a dry campus because a couple of rich families decided that. And because of that, we had people getting in fights off campus at bars. We had kids that had to go through like PTSD therapy because they were at bars when shootings broke out. And it's like, man, this could all be avoided if we could just like drink in our rooms or drink on campus.
Jed wanted to avoid the townies. This guy over here, Mr. College.
I mean, I was technically a townie at the time because I was living in
Mr.
town and not
College.
on campus. But yeah, yeah, I wanted to interact
Yeah.
with people of my age, which is like the only thing I think school is good at. It's just getting you immersed with people of your age.
Even then, bro, who you talking to? Why are you guys talking? Split up.
Right, exactly.
What the fuck, bro? It's not. Man, looking back, it's kind of. I mean, we had an all right
It's a
school
very
system, but
strict. Uh,
man,
no, like the whole school system in general is like really strict, like overall, I guess, whatever. But it's like a strict routine that like kind of manages your young life and puts you in like a what they think is a good base foundation for education. But that
Nah, man,
it
you can
doesn't include a
go.
lot of things that I think we should have, like financial education,
Well, dude, if we
well,
had
that's a
that,
really big,
if we
but
had that, people would be waking up, and
Yeah.
they would be questioning a lot of shit, and these people don't have the answers for it, man. Oh, okay, anything. This is why I quit college, because I can learn whatever they're teaching me. I can learn for like 20 times cheaper. Just buy a book and a couple tests and see how you do. Like, if you really are passionate about something and can learn something, or want to learn something, you can do it through your own means. Like, we have YouTube. We are in the age of information.
Yeah.
Why are we still learning us through a system that is broken, and people know it's broken, dude? Like, we are dumb. Like, we are dumb. Like, people look at Americans and they're like, yo, what the fuck? You guys are stupid. Like, if I
Mhm.
asked
Yeah,
you
no
about
shit.
Napoleon and shit, like, would you know about Napoleon? I mean, Jed probably, but I don't know, Mark.
I was gonna say something. But
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
also a
little
trivia nut.
things
I
that
quested
aren't
after
like
those little
really.
nuggets of knowledge that people didn't care about
Yeah.
because I wanted to know. I was curious, and that's
Yeah, it's a
I'm
nerd.
not the rule.
Well,
I'm the exception. Yeah, I'm
that's
a
another
nerd.
thing
Love
too,
it.
though, right? Is like, the winner writes history.
100%.
So it, like, man, really
Napoleon was
makes me
3 inches
question.
taller than the average height at the time, but we all remember him as being short because he lost.
Yeah.
And see, it's like these little things that this book pointed out that were seemingly like not like a big part of the book, but it got you questioning your education. It got you
Yep.
questioning like
Absolutely.
what you've done, so far to like set yourself up, and then it gets you thinking about your future, which was a great, like, really one of the best things about the book, I thought. It because it triggered your emotional response and your like mental response whenever it came to all your finances and your decisions that you're doing uh
Yeah.
in your financial life. So I thought that was pretty cool,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Did you guys ever think like about your parents and how like the interactions and the way they respond to certain things? Like, were they the rich mindset or the poor mindset? Like, that's what I was questioning too. I was like, oh, yeah,
Yeah, I
like, I
definitely.
saw a little bit of that in my parents, and
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, so
A lot of it.
Well, I think I had like a little bit unique background whenever it came to that because, like, no offense, but I think my dad was more of the poor mindset and my mom was more of the rich mindset, and um, it showed.
rich
And
mom, poor dad.
we did, yeah. Rich mom, poor dad is kind of
You
the
have to
way
write
it
a book,
it
man.
seemed like in the household.
There's all that vacuuming.
Just like the way they thought about, yeah, exactly. Just the way they
Sucking up
thought
the
about
money.
like finances and preparation for the future, things like that. Like, not that my dad didn't think about the future. He's just like, you know, it'll take care of itself without like really planning for it because he's relying on like government programs here and there and like pensions and stuff and not really thinking about like what can I do to better my future. And then like with my mom it was definitely the opposite. It was like, well, that'll be nice to have in the future, but I need to think about like what I can do to make my situation better now and then. So it's like, how can I make my money make me money? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which is the
Like,
big
what can
one.
I do to cut finances? What can I do to, you know, uh, spend less, gain more, kind of thing? Was just like really commonplace in our house. But then, uh, like the guy said about how he still learned lessons from his poor dad. It wasn't like his poor dad didn't teach him anything. And I feel like I had a lot of that too. Like I was making a lot of connections, I guess. Not even trying to, but like the way he would talk about something and be like, "Oh yeah, I get that. I feel that. That
Right.
makes sense."
Yeah, dude.
Did you guys ever have any like financial education in your house? Because I say I did. Like after reading the book, I feel like I had way more than I thought I did. Um, just now that I can do like reflection and everything, but like the only like true before this book financial education I had was like my parents sitting me down like talking about how to like structure bank accounts and how to structure like the way you go about like saving money or like investing money. That's it. And it wasn't like in depth or anything, but it was just an idea.
Mm.
What about you guys?
I didn't have anything like formal, like they didn't like sit me down and say this is how you manage money and stuff. But there was one day that like I saw my mom balancing her checkbook, and I was like, "Hey, Ma, what are you doing?" She's like, "I'm balancing my checkbook, honey." And I was like, "What?" And then she told me about it. And then for like a week after that, I was like, "Can I balance your checkbook for you?" Because I just wanted to help her out, and I got pretty good at it. And then she was like, "I'm missing $100," and I was like, "I have no idea where that went." And then she found it.
What Jed's not telling you is this happened literally 3 days ago. So no,
No, this was when I was really young. I just forgot to carry a one or something.
that's funny. What about you, Lane? In your house, since we're all going around in a circle, it seems like.
Sorry, what? Yeah, sorry. Um, no, no, there was none of that. Like, no, I can't think of anything like off the top of my head. Um, no, just like
Poor,
no,
poor dad.
right? No, it was just like you're a smart kid. Like, figure it out. That's basically like my whole. That was my whole upbringing. Is like figure it out, which is cool because it's like made me go look for answers, made me
Right.
question things, made me.
Inspires self-reliance.
Whereas like I guess it can go back to the school system thing we just talked about. Whereas like you're just spoon fed all this shit, and people die at the stake or die on their Jed finish die on the hill they stand on or whatever. They
Take the hill.
like everything that they've learned and have been told. Like they 100% like just believe like to the like they don't even question.
Yep.
Hey, maybe I should look at a different view. Maybe I should look more into this research. Like, no, I remember in history class we learned about this and it was like this. It's like, okay, I can't
No, I
deal with
remember in
those people,
school they
dude. I
taught us this.
cannot.
I'm like, yeah, but that was 20 years ago. There's new information out now.
Yeah, new shit
People
has
have
come
done
to
some
light.
research.
Mm-hmm.
New shit has come to light, man.
I think that really
girl,
shapes you.
That's
And like
bro,
I
kidnap
can look
yourself.
at you and see what it's done in the positive light for you. Whenever your family's done that for you, like
Yeah,
figure it out. Like I'm not gonna paint everything black and white for you.
yeah.
You know, and
Until I figure it out.
that's neat.
Yeah,
I wish I had a little bit more of that. I think that would have helped me out.
yeah, and I wasn't too. There was never any biases or anything in the house. It was always just like like some people they're Democrat, Republican, these stupid shit, just dumb shit, man. None of that shit. It was always like very free thinking. What do you think? Like, think for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't go with the crowd. Think for yourself. Make your own assessment with the information that is available in front of you. And I think we are in the golden opportunity to do so right now. Well, and it's kind of this. I mean, I don't want to stray too far off, but all the censorship and stuff that's going on, all of the like, I type into Google you know, a popular Alex Jones video or some shit. You know, it's like you'll not find you're gonna have to dig, right? Yeah, like things are being swept under the rug. You're gonna have to
If it's
pick up.
popular Alex Jones video, it's going to be one that he's getting slammed, not like his actual video. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then you have to.
And it's so divisive the way that certain companies can hide and conceal and change information. You know, like change a headline to make it. So you don't even need to read the article, but then you read the article and it's like that's not at all, because most people don't read the article. They just read the headline. They're like, oh shit, this guy killed someone, and then like they read the article. Well, they don't read the article, but if they did, it would say some shit like, man talked about killing someone in his dream. Could this mean that he's, shit like that?
Exactly.
It's very. So I guess my point is, we are in the opportunity to think for yourself, but you're also in the opportunity to where you can get swindled very easily if you don't check your sources, if you don't check your shit. Like, I understand now, fully why Miss Bechtold, shout out to her, was very meticulous when it came to your sources and their credibility and stuff. And yeah, that's just, I don't know, it's my thoughts on that whole thing. But yeah, back my house was very think for yourself, dude.
It shows.
And like you mentioned, you mentioned like biases, like how a lot of people growing up would have like, oh, this is a Democrat household, this is a Republican household, this is a Catholic household, and all that stuff. And like I was really privileged. Like the only bias we had was the government does not work for you; they work for the rich people. That was like our only bias. Was poor versus government and rich. Mm-hmm. That was like the only bias we had. It was definitely. I mean, like my mom grew up in the 70s, and my dad grew up in like the late 70s, 80s. So they were definitely free thinkers, man. So yeah, I mean, I had a good time growing up. Looking back on it, I think it was harder than it was. Like when I immediately think, I'm like, man, I had a rough childhood. But then I actually think back, and I'm like, I had a pretty cake childhood, man, compared to like life now.
Yeah, dude. I could have been a kid in Chicago, bro. Could you imagine the school system there? Like, dude, Bureau Valley was not bad, dude.
Dude, it wasn't.
I can't, like, yeah, I fucking hated school. Yeah, I hated sitting there and, having to memorize and regurgitate. Yeah. Like you said, it's not about learning. It's about, dude, I couldn't tell you half the shit I learned.
But we did have some teachers that actually cared about learning stuff.
And that's when it gets cool.
Like, took time to like get to know their students. Yeah, that was exactly who I was thinking of. Gozman, man. He was probably one of my favorite teachers ever. Probably still is.
And you know what's cool? He's a real estate investor. That's why, he had the things he had.
Have you seen his house?
That's why he has the things he has. But and that alone, like that shows. Although I'm calling him out right now, I told him in 2015. That Donald Trump was running for president, and he just laughed, and the whole rest of the class laughed at me. So, you know what? Ha ha ha! Who's laughing now? This guy. Anyways, fucking. But
how long you been holding on to that one? Dude, 6 years?
I always think it like.
I need closure.
Anytime I go back to Bureau County, I'm like, man, if I see Gozman, I'm telling his ass. But no, that kind of proves like he gave a fuck to show people. So he's one of those rich mindset, I'm not gonna say rich, but rich mindset people that are like Robert Kiyosaki. He would tell you, that his, this and that.
And he would call out like where it's like, this fact is actually being disputed. New research is being conducted on what actually happened during this, like ancient Grecian battle, like. And he would show us like dope movies like the 300, and he'd be like, yeah, so like this is where they got some stuff wrong, but this is where like their principles were all right. Remember he said that the phalanx was in good form, like that was like how they actually did the phalanx and shit. And like the turtle formation, he's like, yeah, that was some real shit, but like also they wouldn't be this naked.
Jesus, yeah, smart dude.
And there'd be a lot more gay shit going on for reals.
For realsies.
Jesus
Which is a funny
Christ.
thing that like
real.
the spoof movie, like Meet the Spartans, they got more of like the societal behavior right, which is funny.
Right. Oh, I think that's part of the humor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love spoofs.
So, another thing, like whenever he talks about restructuring, the way he was an educator, right? At the same time in the book, Robert, he looked at education in a different light, where like he was making like games, so like you were learning from like actually interacting with your source material and things like that, and like you either way, like if you're winning or losing, like you're understanding the concept in a whole new light, and like actually
Yeah.
able to interact with it. Like in the book, he had this really great example where this lady had just went through a divorce and she was really bitter about finances because she really didn't know anything, because she thought, well, that's the husband's job. And then like she's playing this game. For instance, okay, so she gets a boat right away and she's excited, and then she realizes how much a boat costs you versus like how fun a boat would be, and she didn't think, like she was thinking of it in a whole different way. And then whenever it came to like brass tacks at the end, she was like, "Oh my God, this boat is not worth it," you know. And
Right.
that could be like in a whole bunch of different elements in life. And
Yeah,
crazy,
and then like,
huh?
and then like they followed up with her too, and like a few days later, her friend that brought her to the like the little class was like talking to Robert because they were like friends or whatever, and they're like, yeah, she calmed down a bit and she started thinking about like how it actually kind of did replicate what she's been doing in her real life, and how she's actually like starting to get the message that she was supposed to get out of it, and it's like, oh cool, makes me want to play this game. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that it'd be a fun thing to do, and like it'd probably be really educational.
Did I
What
tell you guys
didn't-
my plan? Sorry,
Oh, okay,
Jed.
sure.
Totally cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah. What 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 I didn't get about it was like she got this boat and she was super excited about this boat and how this boat's gonna be so much fun, but like my first thought was it's a game. You will not actually be able to have fun on that boat. It's not going to be an actual status symbol for you. Nobody's going to care that you got this boat in this game. So like, why are you actually attaching like the
They
societal
care in the
value
game.
of I got this boat and you don't to this fucking fake game boat?
That's
like,
all
there should
everything
be-
is, man.
right?
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
supposed to definitely highlight that.
what I immediately started thinking about, because the book had me thinking about this, right? Is, oh, she's not using this boat, so this boat's just going to cost her money. This isn't going in the asset column. This is going in the liability column right away. So I was like, oh my God, she needs to flip this around. She doesn't know yet. She doesn't know. She hasn't read the book. Oh no. She needs to flip this around. She needs to start a boat service. Like, let me take you out on the ocean boat service. And like that turns it into a whole new concept, right? It's
Right.
not a liability then. It's an asset. Whenever
Exactly.
you have this small business set up, some which way or the other, and then you can also enjoy the boat later on.
Exactly.
That there's that. And I was like, oh, so like right away, I'm getting those kind of benefits out of this book, where my whole mentality about things like that has been shifted, so I can think about like those things pop out right away, like first.
Right.
And I think he's really reaching out there and like helping people with those kind of things.
Yeah.
I'm happy about this book a lot, actually. I'm really glad this was suggested.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
sure.
going to add it to my my rotation, like books that I really like that I listen to. I just keep downloaded so I can just keep listening to them when I run out of good books. Because with my audiobook service right now, I only get like one book a month unless I pay extra. So if I read my one book a month super fast, I just listen to old books, or I listen to that one again right away. I've already listened to Green Lights like 3 times. It's fucking just great. Anytime you can get an author that actually narrates their own book, it's like, oh, fuck yes.
Yeah.
That is a good thing, yeah. Somebody that narrates their own books with any audio book that you like. Yeah. We'll talk about that later, though. We'll talk about that later. Back on this, back on the wonderful financial advice book.
Yes. By Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, I guess what I was gonna say earlier, is my plan. So for those of you guys who don't know, I've got a pretty nice car. It's paid off. Um, I'm moving. Well,
Lex.
well, I'm pretty good like financially. But my plan is to kind of do something a little wild. Um, my location will change soon to where I will not need a car for work. Okay, so that car, kind of like that boat, becomes a liability, right? There's maintenance that
Yeah.
needs done every once in a while. Like, yeah, I would save on gas, sure, but so my whole idea is sell the car, do what I can. Like as far as no, I'll probably get another car, like some beater,
Little jalopy, yeah.
something to go get the groceries, right?
1986 Ford Pinto with the explosive bumper add-on.
Yeah, I love that.
Jesus
Gotta
Christ.
love that feature.
It comes stock.
Yeah. But and then just save, and then when time comes, invest. Now, what could I do with that money? I could do a lot with it. So, like Mark was saying, like something like the taking people out on a boat or whatever. Like I could put that money to a limo, and then on the nights and weekends, be like a limo driver in downtown Denver. You know what I mean? Like I could do some cool investing there and then use that money to, I don't know, rental property, or that's the mindset you kind of have to get into
Yeah.
relating to the book. There's going to be risks. Sure. You want to do everything you can to mitigate that risk. And you know, I think that would be
So,
like a pretty good skit, like a,
I mean,
use.
what I would say is I think there's a lot less pull for a limo these days. I think you'd have a better luck getting like a really nice van.
You're making me feel
And
not hip with the times, Jed.
no. Come on.
Dick.
No,
A
the
mini
limo's a good idea.
bus.
The limo's a good idea. But I think you got to adapt it to Denver's atmosphere, right? So I'm thinking more like nice van, tricked out like a sort of party bus for like, a group of like 8 friends can just chill in the back in like a wraparound
Short
sofa
bus.
with the only opening being the
That's so cool.
door, cup
Right.
holders because they're going to be drinking, wall between you and them so that you can't get in trouble for the alcohol. You gotta go through all the codes and stuff to make sure you're not fucking anything up. Maybe a
Yeah.
vent in the back in case things get a bit smocky.
Yeah, it might get a little schmocky.
In Denver. But I
For
think
those
that'd be
people.
like, yeah, and you just market it as like a DD service, professional designated driver.
Yeah. I mean, even this is a strange way to think about it, but like, you have some free time every once in a while. I know you are a very busy young man, but your car is fairly newer. You could be driving, Lyft, Uber, something like that.
You don't really make a
Yeah,
lot of, you don't
yeah,
make your returns on that, and the wear and tear doesn't. I thought about it. Believe me, I thought about it.
Yeah,
yeah.
because
Dasher
well,
just
you're in
offered
the
me
you're
$20 for maintenance, and I was like, $20 for maintenance? That's like barely an oil change. Fuck you.
yeah, I get you. Even if you do it yourself, you're like, yeah, it's kind of nope.
How often is
uh,
the? Sorry, Mark. Real quick.
That was
How
the
often?
first time I've seen one. That was the first time I've seen
Out
one.
of how many months, weeks?
Better part of a year.
Wow. Yeah. See what I mean? It's not a
yeah,
good
Yeah.
investment. But anyways, Mark, go ahead.
yeah. So I mean, that was just. I know you've already thought about it because we were, you know, you had read the book prior to us, and you were already in that mentality of like, let me get a lot of my um, assets, like let's get my liabilities down, my assets up. So that was a good thing, just thinking about that. And well, let's see. You're talking about, moving more things into your asset column and everything. And the only thing I got to say is that's wonderful idea. I'm really happy for you. I want to see you strive. I want to see you, progress. But then you also have to think about something that he said in the book, which was, what is your time worth? if you're out there driving that limo, like, and that's going to eat into your time, like trying to do other like business opportunities and assets and stuff.
Well, correct. You're gonna have to put in the work at first, right?
At first.
Nothing comes easy, but then let's say you're making enough to where I could hire someone a decent wage that would be worth their time, whatever they have going on in their life. Get them trained up, and then build a business off of that.
Yeah, you could get somebody from Wisconsin like out to Colorado where they could, drive. They could be like a professional driver, and they don't have to work with wood like all the time. They're making a little bit decent money. They can afford a decent haircut.
Yeah, he can't afford me.
Can't afford
and
you.
maybe they could work on their acting career on the side.
Denver wouldn't be a bad spot. Denver would not be a bad spot for me to.
Well, I think we're really just hashing out our goals here. We could do that later. But overall, I think that this book everyone should read. I think it should be taught in school.
I agree.
Again, even if the board is against it, I think it should be taught in school. Because it teaches it brings light to a part of the brain that you don't really you've been subconsciously in this motion to not think that way, and now you're almost tapping into a new section that is lighting up, going, wait a second, kind of getting out of the matrix a little.
Was there anything that you guys before we wrap this up, was there anything you got out of the book that you didn't necessarily agree with? Because I had one thing. I'll go first, I guess. So he's talking about like risky investments and everything at the beginning. He's talking about like why his rich dad liked Texas is because like they go big. You don't want to tell somebody you went broke on a condo, like you went broke on 20 condos because you risked it. You took the big bet. And I was like, well, like, come on now. That seems like you're trying to encourage people to like bet all or nothing, and if you're gonna go broke, do it before 30. And it was like, oh shit, this sounds a little crazy. Like maybe you should dial that a little bit down. Is all I thought. I'm not saying don't take a risk, but at the same time, like take reasonable risks. Is all I was thinking. Like think about
calculated risks.
There we go. That's
sure.
That's the word I'm looking for. And that's the only problem I ever had with the entire book. Otherwise, it was all good. And now that I like even think about it, I mean, it's not that big of a problem. Like I'm thinking about it in another light. So, I'm still pulling information out of it. So it's cool.
Yeah, definitely worth a read. Probably even like 2 or 3, because there's definitely going to be some stuff that the first time you hear it, it doesn't click for you. Like a lot of the mentality stuff, it's hard to work it back. Like it's hard to get back into that area of your brain that handles like your basic principles of like, oh, I'm trying to save money, so I shouldn't buy this candy bar that looks just so goddamn good. I mean, that's a freshly baked cookie. Oh my God, those chocolate muffins. And you have to rewire that part of your brain that's like, oh, I can afford this as long as I, don't spend too much. You have to be like, oh, if I don't spend money on this, I can invest it and spend more on this later, which will make me more money for then. You have to.
Right.
It's just.
I think there's
shifting your perspective from now to the future.
I think there's another aspect that you can take a look at, like, not as far as, like, even just aside from money, like you said, like do I need that, like, do I need to spend money on, this chocolate bar or whatever, like, think about, is that chocolate bar going to make you healthy? Stuff like that too is something you need to. Now, it is we're kind of, man, it's almost criminal that it's cheaper to buy shitty food than it is to go out and get yourself some good fresh greens. But like, I don't know, at that point you need to learn how to grow your own garden. I know people that, all their vegetables come strictly from their garden, and that's cool. That's awesome.
Anytime somebody mentions the whole like it's cheaper to buy junk food than regular food than like good food, all I can think about is why would 9 out of 10 dentists recommend a toothpaste? If the toothpaste was that good, it would take people out of the dentist office, take money out of the dentist's pocket. So if 9 out of 10 dentists are recommending this toothpaste, is it actually good for you,
That's
or is it
why
gonna, or is it gonna send you to the dentist office?
fluoride. It's terrible for
Fluoride,
you.
man.
Neurotoxic.
Fluoride
If you guys don't know, check it out. They put it in our
numbs your
water.
You better know.
brain for the re-education.
Calluses your pineal gland, so it cuts off your spirituality.
And then they already got you programmed from the pre-education.
Well, yeah. Why would they?
Bells.
Yeah,
Everything's connecting, boys.
everything's connected. It sound bad shit, but I mean, there's some truth to it. So check that out.
We went on a bit of a journey after college. We were just, a bunch of guys living in a house together over the summer. It was a good time. One of our journeys, we watched The Matrix, and it suddenly clicked that there's all these people that think, oh, maybe we live in the Matrix and maybe we have to unplug. But it was the first time I watched it that I realized we do live in the Matrix and we do need to unplug. But the Matrix isn't like a corporeal like computer system we're in. It's the system of the society that we're allowing to corrupt us, that
Right.
we're allowing to dictate what we learn, what we know, what we spend our money on, how we think. That's what we need to unplug from. It was a wild summer, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. And what's crazy to me is like we all we ever do, like what I'm doing right now, what Mark is doing when he talks into the mic, whatever Jed's doing when he puts his vape up to his mouth, whatever. All we're doing is exchanging information, almost like a computer.
Yep.
But we're all little nodes, but we don't realize that. Like, I guess we do because it's like society, but like we don't realize that of the impact, like of going with the flow, right? Like I talk about sheeple, right? Sheep, just they go with the herd. Okay, that's not good. I mean, I'm sure it is for like a functioning program, but like you get you get these little viruses in there that are doing their own little thing, and that's not good for the overall program, right? So like that's kind of how I look at it. Is like, who knows, man? People who are like free thinking and are like, I don't like the way that this program's gonna be going. Like, you have to tune out of it, unplug from it, in a sense. But I don't think that enough people realize like by not allowing yourself to be a part of that program, it does make an impact. You may not see it, but like you're encouraging others like, oh, well, he's unplugging. Like maybe I don't know.
Like a domino effect, yeah.
Right.
And fuck, I had it. It was right there. I got it. So that it's kind of like the butterfly effect, but what I was really gonna say about was like this goes back to what we were talking to when we first started this podcast, way back in like August, October, before the election. About the third party. Doesn't matter if
Joe Jorgensen.
Doesn't matter if my vote counts this election.
Let's go, Joe.
Because every vote we have.
No, not Joe Biden. Sorry, not Joe Biden.
I'm Joe Biden's husband. but no, yeah. So like the more people that vote the third party brings up the numbers when they get released, so that people see that we have a 3% increase over last election. Well, I guess maybe I could vote third party, and eventually we get to the point where we can actually elect the officials that we want to elect. We can actually elect the officials that are going to change something.
Exactly.
We can actually change society to be better.
And you know what's
continuing on.
But you know what's wild is when you talk to anybody, dude, we kind of all want the same thing. Whether we know it or don't, we just have to kind of unplug a little bit, right?
Yeah.
When you talk to somebody, you're kind of unplugging them a little bit from their thinking, from their matrix, right? So you're unplugging and you're pulling at different ideas and touching on different things, and you're saying like, why do you think this? And you just unplug a little bit. and sooner or later they'll look in a new viewpoint, a new perspective, a new light, and they'll say, yeah, we do want that. Like, yeah, like, of course. Like, and so I think, like, enough people want the same thing, and like you said, there's gonna be, oh, last year was a 3% increase. Oh, that encourages me to, I want to make an impact too. Let's do 8% next year. Let's do a 10% increase then the year after that. Like, build it up,
Yeah.
and then you'll have your community. Um,
Yeah.
I
And even if we talk to somebody today, that's not necessarily gonna be what changes them or what unplugs them, if you will. But if we can just wiggle that cable just a little bit,
Yeah,
then the next guy that comes along and talks to them, well, they're gonna wiggle it a little bit the other way.
that's
And then
right.
eventually, we got this cable wiggling every which way. Eventually, it's gonna come out, and that's what we have to do. And that's why it's nice that we're in this societal, like, information society, and when we have all these content creators and influencers and all these people that are trying to get people to actually, like, fucking think for once, like,
Yeah,
sit down with, like, just no TV, your phone's totally off, there's no distractions, and just think about, like, what do you know for sure? Like, do a Descartes exercise and try to think, like, what do you actually know? What do you actually want? What do you actually need? How do you actually get it? And just sit down and just think. Think about what's stopping you. Think about why it's stopping you.
yeah,
And read this book, and
Read this
that'll
book.
help you, like, follow you on that path. I really think so.
for sure. With that, Jed, like, unwiggling, and someone else comes around and unplugs it. We have a force that is ever present that is trying to force that jack back in, and it's the algorithm, and it's almost scary. It's like the algorithm is figuring out the way to, whether it be through, like, straight up censorship, or which I guess that's not really the algorithms
What gets
doing, but
promoted?
what gets promoted, right? And, like, the dumb, stupid stuff that, like, it really numbs your brain. You don't think, right? It's just given to
Yeah.
you, like, spoon fed, and it's part of that system that you're just taught this, but
Yeah.
I think that's our biggest issue, right? And that's why it's so important, the freedom of speech, freedom to express ideas and say what you feel, because otherwise it's just oppressive. And
Yeah.
I think, like, we need to really focus on that. Like, there's a reason. Okay, so I did a little video. Well, I didn't send it to you guys, but I screen recorded. I took a little video of, like, me trying to search for our flat Earth. I typed in literally everything on YouTube on someone else's, uh, I
Account.
guess, yeah, and could nothing came up, man. Everything was all debunk, 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 flat Earth debunk, flat Earth. Like, why is it so crazy? Yeah, ours was not. I even typed in the exact, man. I even typed in gentlemen's. I typed in gentlemen's bureau, flat Earth, convex Earth, whatever. Dude, it didn't come up, and it's our, like, one of our biggest videos. But this is what I'm talking about, where it's like, man, I can't even search the exact words in the search box. Something's going on behind the scenes, man.
Yep.
They don't want you to unplug from. Nah, I'm not saying the Earth is flat. I'm just saying that's just a small example of what we are seeing, or what we're not seeing. What aren't we seeing, other than our, like, me searching that right there? Like, what else is being? I don't know. I'm just
Censored
saying
from
it's
us,
it's
right?
it's being
Suppressed.
very
Yeah.
suppressed. But
And
yeah, that's
it's
yeah,
yeah. And I don't want to think about it like this, because virus has a bad kind of connotation, especially right now. But that's kind of what it needs to be. It has to be something that can adapt, which is good because we're humans and we're highly adaptable. It's what we do. It's what made us, apex predators. Number one, all the way.
Top of the food
Human.
chain. Woo.
Um, So it needs to be highly adaptable. It needs to be able to infect the algorithm and give it no choice but to share it. It has to become so popular that it has to. Like if we had enough people going for it, that it was getting searched that much and getting watched that much, then eventually they'd have to show it because their algorithm would turn against them, right?
I have a question. Do you guys think, now, as you guys know, I'm not for Biden, I'm not for Trump, I'm not against Trump, all right? Let's just say that.
Okay.
But I'm not for him. Remember that. I'm not for him. But do you guys think that the reason, let's say it was a unfraudulent election, do you think the reason that Biden got elected is because the media was pushing so much bullshit about like Trump to the point where everyone was just on the like, those people, real quick, those people that like, if they listen to our podcast, they would be like, this isn't even interesting. This is like those people who are just so in the fucking system, they just don't like give a fuck. They just like go with the flow, right? Like those people. Okay, so
We're not
like, I
talking
think
about
those-
shoes and like fake issues. We're talking about like expanding your mind, and people just don't
like,
understand.
People are just like, whatever. Okay, so I guess my point is like, dang it, Mark, you kind of threw me off.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay. What was I fucking saying? All right. Yeah. Do you think that the media basically, I mean, I 100% believe this, but do you think that that's like people have voted for Biden because the media hyped it up so bad, like Trump was so bad, but like realistically, no, this guy was not bad at all. But that just shows the system overriding people's ability to come up with their own fucking ideas and thoughts and look into shit. Yeah. And they do it with emotion, and they do it with shit like that. And so like, it's not fair to people like us, free thinking people who think Joe Jorgensen, hey, that's a fucking option, people. But no, these people are so, well, I don't like Trump, so I'm just gonna vote for Biden. Like, well, I don't like Biden, so I'm just gonna vote for Trump. It's like, dude, there's a third person,
so many
right?
people.
Like, holy shit. That's
So
all
many
it was.
people
That's
are like
all
that.
it was. It is so tribalistic. It's so tribal. It's like,
That's
man,
a good way to say it.
do you guys have any fucking brain cells? Like, for real, man. Like, what? Dude, there's a third party. It's just waiting to be voted on. Just waiting to be voted on. And that goes back to the, hey, maybe next year, 10%. Boost it up. It's going to, spread it, Spread it out. But yeah, that kind of went off the topic of the book, guys. But
yeah.
man, that's how good this book. If you liked what we were talking about here, it all stemmed from talking about the book. So I think if you are a free-thinking individual and you love this shit and you like what we were talking about, you should read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I read it a year or two ago. Finished it, loved it. I actually read it on my phone. Yeah, it's not a long read either, and you know what? You can listen to it like we talked about. Yeah, I think YouTube does have.
The whole thing is on YouTube. The whole thing is on YouTube.
Yeah, so it's free and it's really good. It's not boring. Don't think it's gonna be boring financials.
No, it is. It is interesting to listen to, and he tells a lot of like. That was like the one thing I actually didn't like about it was that a lot of it was him talking about like his own like personal stories that I didn't think we really needed, Like he talked about all these people that he had come to his conference and that he talked to, and he was using it as a way to show you the lesson he was trying to get you to learn. But I just thought for how I was approaching the book, I would have liked it a little bit more clinical myself. But I can see where, as an author, you'd want to be more general. So yeah. I might try to find if he has another book that is a bit more technical, a bit more clinical about it, and I might read that one also.
He does. It's like the quadrant.
Oh, he mentions it in the book, I think, too.
It's like the
He mentions
quadrant
this other book
investor thing or
in the
whatever.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how you get the the return on
How you sell
investment.
more
That's how you turn a liability into an asset right there.
See, he knows what he's doing, folks. I
He knows
mean,
what he's
that's
doing. But no, it is a really good book, and I would recommend. It's going to be on the Gentleman's Bureau book list.
yeah. And he does have his own podcast too, so check his podcast out.
Yeah.
I'm subscribed to that. Sometimes I'll take a listen. He's like talking a lot about Bitcoin and stuff anymore.
We
so
should get him on.
if we could, I'd love to. Yeah.
Send him a message.
Might be a
Well, you're
little hard,
subscriber.
but
Might be a little hard, but hey, shoot for the moon, right?
Shoot for the moon.
that's
Better
right.
than not taking a shot at all, right?
And if you miss, you land
All
in
right,
China.
everybody. Oh,
All right, guys.
Jesus.
Thanks for tuning in. And as always, if you liked our content, like it, comment whatever you thought. If you have anything to extrapolate off of what we have said, please do in the comment section.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you guys, whether it's good or bad. Everything's good in my eyes. Ever since I read this book, I'm looking at everything in a positive light. So, bad comments, that's just motivation for, what I need to work on.
Oh, exactly.
But yeah, so thanks, guys. Also, share, please.
This one
is how you.
especially, I really think you should share this one and help out everybody in your circles.
Yeah, don't help us out. We're to help out your friends. Let them know that you think for yourself. All right. So
we're concerned about
Yeah.
their future.
Yeah. And let us know down
You're
below
concerned about-
what books you want to see us do this with.
concerned about their future. I don't know, Mark. Yeah.
Well, you want to
Just
see
drop
them
it down.
succeed. Yeah.
Something.
This is a way to do it. So please share it with everybody.
Yep.
So till next time, folks. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, the oldest memory I have of Jed is where were we? Oh, we're in Cub Scouts though, and we go to the newspaper like printing place in Princeton. And this huge lady, like this is a fat fucking lady, right? And like even back in the day, I was like, as a kid, I was like, damn, this lady's fat as fuck. And she's at this computer and she's like, this is how we make advertisements. You guys want to see how we do it? And I'll show you and you can help me make one. And fucking Jed's like, this is awesome. And like we basically made, like she showed us how they make coupons. And like, what should we have a coupon for? And Jed's like, KFC. Oh, what should it be? Fried chicken. 6 for one. You get 6 buckets for one fried chicken you buy. It's like, Jed really likes fried chicken. Holy shit. I was like, this fat bitch is loving this too, though. She's like, yeah, 6 buckets of fried chicken. Like, she was down with that shit.
Yeah. I don't even
Repeated,
eat fried chicken anymore, except for
Oh, that's
those,
sad, man.
fried chicken sandwiches you get.
Really? That's
I guess-
fucking awful.
Yeah, I guess I make like that frozen popcorn bites. That's kind of like fried chicken, sort of.
Mm.
But I use an air fryer because that's the trend right now.
But isn't that like kind of like just using an oven? People say that all the time.
Yes and no. It's way faster than using an oven. And like, I don't know. It seems to keep more of the moisture in. It's hard to describe. But
Mm.
it's like an
Pressure
oven, but
cooker?
better.
Like, would a pressure cooker be better too? Then? Oh, I guess like a pressure cooker uses a lot of steam, so
Yeah. Depends on
what
what
if you
you're
want to
cooking.
do like
At that point,
fries? That wouldn't be dope.
one thing I want to do is I've been seeing people use like a pressure rice cooker to make like a big pancake, like a big fluffy pancake. I think that'd be kind of cool. It comes out like this thick, like an actual like cake, but
Hmm.
it's a pancake.
I'm gonna look into that. Hey, Lane, you're muted.
Yeah. Well, are we starting? Or...
Yeah, we're gonna start here in a second. All right. Now I need a whistle. I need a nice whistle. I'm gonna do this intro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, You're tuning into the Gentleman's Bureau Whistling Podcast, where you work and we whistle while you work. Now I know you're having a good time out there tonight or day, whenever.
All right,
because you can listen
we're not doing that, Jed. This is gonna be terrible for the audience's ears. This is awful. It's terrible.
All
It's
right.
awful.